Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Here with Kurt. Want to do a little quick update. I know we're sounded like a broken record, but I guess a good broken record. The Q onboards a new ad partner. But Kurt, first things first, how are you?
I'm good. I feel like I've got to, I'm going to the office more often now, actually. I mean, LA's kind of reopened up. So I was at the office all day yesterday, but whenever we're recording, I'm back home. So anyway, one of these days we'll be back with the gold records behind me.
Hey, you do have a nice office and some good scenery, but no,
Yeah.
good to hear. Well, here let's hop into it. Britannia, give me the overview.
Yeah. So Britannia, will be less automatically known, I guess I'll say, by people in North America or Western, in Europe, et cetera. Same Britannia in India. Everybody knows who Britannia is. It's a company that's been around, I don't know, I think it's 130 years, something like that. They actually, interestingly enough, I think they're the largest seller of biscuits in the world. They're certainly the largest seller of biscuits in India. And biscuits are big in India. Remember, the British were there for a long time, so they like their biscuits. And and so Britannia is a massive. Everybody knows who Britannia is. It'd be like saying a major potato chip manufacturer or something, or a bread manufacturer. They sell them over. They sell. I believe their official status. They sell 1 million loaves of bread a day. A day. So these guys are a major, fast moving consumer goods company. They're in every grocery store. I believe they're, in some crazy number of retail outlets, like 5 million retail outlets in India. Um, it's an incredibly well-known brand in India and would be one of the largest brands in India. They're actually listed on two exchanges there, the Bombay Stock Exchange and what's called the National Stock Exchange. On the National Stock Exchange, they're in what's known as the Nifty 50, which is like I forget what it's called on NASDAQ, but where they put the top companies like the S&P, the
Yeah.
leading 50 companies that set the index. Same thing. So Britannia is one of those companies. So that kind of gives you an idea of the scale of these guys.
Yeah.
And so it's just another blue chip partner. I mean, it's almost like, knock on wood, every week there's a new major brand that's coming on board as an advertiser on the channel. And it's all because of what I say all the time: ratings equal revenue, ratings drive advertiser interest. We're delivering a huge youth audience. So things are really exciting right now.
Yeah, awesome. Well, look, congratulations. I know not an overnight success by any means. So, good work to yourself and the team. Obviously, congratulations. Recent. I know you announced a COO position, but we've done an interview with Krisha before, so nothing too surprising, I think. But obviously, that awesome to see that official announcement come through, which is great. Question for you, and I just want to ask. We are getting some questions in the kind of, I see it in Discord, I see it on Reddit, I see it in Telegram. uh is there anything around programming? We're getting questions. Hey, is there any plans to maybe keep pushing these ratings or keep moving things along with new kind of production? I'm curious. I don't know how much you can say, so I want to preface
Yeah.
that with would love any info.
Yeah. Before I answer that question, I'm going to just say something about Krishna. Krishna's been with us 2.5 years, and he comes from a very broad-based background where he's done a lot of different managerial type roles of, distribution, of sales, et cetera. But he's really a sales guy. I mean, he's his DNA, if you will, is in sales and ad sales, and he was there leading the charge on that. He was hired as chief revenue officer. And it took us a long time to get ratings and BARC rated and all the other stuff, a lot longer than we expected to get there. So there weren't a lot of sales to do. And so he inherited a lot of operational things. But the point I was going to make was that this means that in the two chairs that are the day-to-day people, Simran and Krishna, these are people who have sales mentalities. And that's a little bit unusual, actually, for the company, but they've also both operated large groups in big media companies. So I'm super excited. I mean, again, these ad sales deals, this isn't happening by magic. It's not just, again, you get the ratings and they call you up and go, okay, here's the money, let's go. It's a relationship-based business. It's knowing how to book deals. I'm going to think of how to couch this statement so I can say it appropriately. I'll say that the Britannia deal was among the best deals that we've ever done in terms of the ad rates that we're getting. Okay. And that's I won't go into specifics on that. I'll just say that it's extremely attractive. I mean, the kind of deals that we would have been doing 6 months ago, much less 3 months ago, much less 6 weeks ago. This is representative of a very, very different level for us. So to have two sales oriented people at the top and to have the kind of trajectory we've got, look, at the end of the day, it's all about making money. And so, the register is starting to ring up with a lot more exciting and interesting stuff. To your question about programming, I kind of want to put a pin in that a little bit for what I hope will be a conversation actually very, very soon. Um,
Okay.
there's a lot that's going on the programming side right now. We've got Tanya Shukla, who's the head of our programming group and who's led us to the things that we've done with, our first original show, which is the Instagram show, Kia Bolta Insta. She's the person who's led the charge on a lot of the programming and the animation side of the channel that's really become hits for us. We have a couple of other things that are happening right now, a few that have actually happened that we just haven't announced publicly yet. So there's a lot that's going on the programming side. I'm going to say, give me, a week-ish, and we'll have a conversation where all I'll do is fill everybody in on what's happening on the programming side, because we're teeing up a lot of really, really cool stuff right now, and we're locking in a lot of really cool stuff right now.
Okay. Well, look, that's a good update. That's a good update. Thank you for that. I know not the answer maybe people wanted, but probably an answer they're happy with. Yeah, hey, if anyone who's watching this video, if you've got questions that you maybe want to see on an upcoming video, apparently, make sure you drop them, and we can probably get them in there.
I'll have more details on specific show names and titles and how it relates to ratings and popularity, et cetera. Probably realistically sometime, everything always seems to take a little longer than I want it to, but probably it should be next week.
Okay. Well, always expect it to take longer than expected, so appreciate that. But Kurt, thanks for that teaser a little bit there, and to anyone watching, obviously, thank you for being here as well. But Kurt, anything else you wanted to give an update on before we close things off?
Yeah, I mean, probably the final thing is I've gotten a lot of questions lately about COVID.
Yeah.
And, look, on a humanitarian basis, it's horrendous. India is really struggling with it right now. As I told our India team last week, LA a year ago was a ghost town. Everything was closed down. There was no toilet paper in the grocery stores, and you would have thought, World War III had started. It was bad. Hospitals were overflowing here and in New York and all the rest of it. I know Toronto's locked down right now. I mean, a lot of places have Italy when it first started, et cetera, et cetera. That's not to excuse what's happening in India. It's just to say that, this has taken place in a lot of different places. And for whatever reason, it didn't hit India the way it hit other places initially. And now for whatever reason, it's hitting them now. So it's definitely a crisis there. It's definitely a major problem. But what we can also say, and what I told the team, is everybody's come back. In LA, life is pretty much back to normal now. And the other thing that I'll say, and this is not meant to be a crass businessman or insensitive to the humanitarian crisis, entertainment is one of the things that people turn to in times of crisis. I mean, in war, people, the movie business, blossomed because they needed some respite from the shit that was happening on a day-to-day basis that was not pleasant. And so we feel like, as a channel, we're really looking to provide some joy and entertainment and relief from a lot of the stuff that's happening. And so we actually think that it's an opportunity to embrace the community. We're working on some things to try to give back financially and in terms of support, emotional support off the channel and with what we're doing. And it's affected us, I would say, more from an emotional level, and our teams and our people that we work with, our vendors, et cetera, because there's really not anybody in India from our vendors through our own company that hasn't had somebody, whether it's a relative or a distant relative or a close relative, family member, that's been affected by COVID. So we're getting through it. Everybody's got a great attitude. but I wouldn't say that it's had, in terms of the business aspect of our business, a major effect on anything.
Yeah, look, I think that was a amazing kind of statement. Covered all the sub. Not to sound like a super capitalist, but hey, yeah, Netflix did extremely well for the first little bit of lockdown, at least here in North America.
All
Uh,
the streamers did. I mean, all the streaming businesses,
yeah,
because there was nothing else to do except watch TV.
yeah,
And so similar thing is happening in India. And again, it's not the way you want to get to that result, but it is what it is.
yeah. Well, look, appreciate you talking on that point. Yeah, good, a lot of good questions about that, and glad we got it in here. Kurt, thanks so much for joining. This is a great, not to take off the highlights of hey, Q's still closing business. Britannia comes on board, awesome, and you kind of left some teasers. What seems like a pretty high, kind of ad cost per ad type standpoint. So, Kurt, thanks so much for joining. This is an awesome video.
Yeah, great seeing you, Jason.